which includes the Bass Law Firm, includes Riggs Abney and David Riggs. It includes Mike McBride and Jeff Trevelyan at Crowe and Dunleavy. It includes tremendous lawyers out of our DC firms, Squire Patton Boggs, Beveridge and Diamond, our New York-based firms of Schulte Ross Zabel and Gibson and Dunn, our amazing expert witness, Professor Carla Pratt at the University of Oklahoma, members of my firm, Solomon Simmons Law, have put in literally thousands of hours, literally thousands of hours, millions of dollars worth of time and energy to get us to this point. And then our organizational allies, starting first with the Terrence Crutcher Foundation, Dr. Tiffany Crutcher. She's not here today, she's out of state, but I see a couple of her team members are here. The African Ancestry Society with Chief Amazon. Some of our individuals that have been with us include my mentor, Brian Stevenson, of the Equal Justice Initiative, Sherilyn Eiffel, formerly of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Tiffany Cross, Angela Rye, Roland Martin, Joy Reed, just to name a few. And again, I know I'm going to miss some people, but I just want to highlight some of those names. Oh, absolutely. Maxine Waters, absolutely. Thank you very much. Representative Auntie Maxine Waters, absolutely. Been on the front on that. Oh, Representative Danny, what was it?
Oh, you called me up here.
I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah.
Danny Davis, was it Danny Davis? Yeah, Danny Davis, who sponsored legislation on our behalf. And I said the list can go on and on and on, right? But we definitely want to highlight those. Our congressional members have been with us this long journey. So I want you to hear from the two named plaintiffs in this case, first with Jeff Kennedy, and then from Rhonda, and then we'll go from there.
Of course, good afternoon, everybody. Of course, DeMario had already ran through the list, so I'll just say, yeah, ditto what DeMario said, and hats off to Jana. Usually when I get up here, Rhonda's already said what she needed to say and fired you all up, and she talks about her family and House of Kings, House of Warriors, so I would be remiss if I didn't actually get a chance to actually say a little bit about my family before I tell you about how I felt when we won. So this is actually the letter that I sent to the nation, just letting them know who I was, just an introductory. And I said that I am the great-great-grandson of Chinny Chalky, a.k.a. Jim Grayson, who was a mixed blood. He was documented as half Creek, half colored. He was the servant to Robert Grierson, which was considered one of the great men in Creek annals. Grab these. Hence, one of the oldest families names in Creek annals. He purchased a black woman by the name of Venus and gave Chinny Chalky's family to his daughters for better support and maintenance, and this was in 1817. We don't really have an oral history in the Kennedy family or Grayson family. We have a documented history. We're some of the most documented people in the nation. So after the treaty signing, after the treaty signings, Jim and his family was removed with the Grayson's party from the old country in Alabama in 1828, which was the third party of the immigration to or by the government. This is known as the Trail of Tears. We were forced in that. He later died in Sodom, Indian Territory in 1860, just before the war. Part of Jim's family was enrolled on the J.W. Dunn roll in 1867 and the 1869 roll. This reason being that they were enrolled in 1869 in the town of North Fork because they were of African descent, according to J.W. Dunn. My family names are also written in the 1867 Constitution law book as citizens of the Creek Nation and listed as loyal Creeks. They also served in the House of Kings, House of Warriors, and served as town kings, and also 1st Regiment in Indian Home Guard with the service from 1863 to 1865. Yes, he fought in the Big Battle of Nashville. Since the signing of the treaty in 1866, Article 2 on June 14, 1866, and ratified July 19, 1866, amended, accepted July 28, 1866, proclaimed August 11, 1866. Article 2, of course, you've all seen that, and you can always look that up, which gave the so-called Creek Freedmen equal rights as status as the so-called full-bloods. My great-grandfather, Ben Grayson, was a quarter Creek, along with his full brothers and sisters, in which his brothers, Doc Grayson's son, was listed on the Creek Nation Creek by blood roll, and he stated that his father was a mixed blood. I'm sorry, I'm just really, really emotional because this is my great grandfather, and he's the one that. Anyway,
That's all right.
Ben was placed. He was a Creek citizen of North Fork. He was placed on the Creek Nation Creek Freedman roll and enrolled as a Creek Freedman, roll number 5329, and was awarded 160 acres along with his brothers and sisters, sharing the rights and privileges as a Creek citizen. And it just really hurts because the history goes on where we were disenfranchised, which started that fight that Mr. Graham started a long time ago. And the last of that, I just want to tell you guys, when I heard the ruling, I felt generations of my family's exiled at once. They just exhaled. It was very powerful for me. I basically dropped to my knees buckled, I just dropped, and I just gave God all the glory. And I praised him for what he's done and what he's going to continue to do.
Amen.
Our ancestors that signed that treaty, the Treaty of 1866, in good faith, and today, the court finally honored their word. This victory isn't mine. It belongs to every Black Creek descendant who refused to be erased. We know what's going on today. Now, as recognized citizens, we are ready for reconciliation and to move forward together as one nation, honoring the past while building a just future for all. I know the first time I met with you guys, of course, I had never done anything like this, but I basically wanted you all to know that we're tired. We're tired of all the fighting. We just want to come home. Thank you.
Good job, Jeff. Okay, Rhonda, can you hear it? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. Today, I'm so excited, I don't know what to do. Today marks a historic milestone for every Freedman descendant who believes in justice. The Muscogee Creek Nation Supreme Court has ruled that the Muscogee Creek Nation Citizenship Board, since 1979, wrongfully denied our citizenship applications, affirming the 1866 Creek Treaty that confirms our existence and birthright. It's a great day. We fought a long, hard battle, fueled with resilience and secured and sacred duty to honor our ancestors. Thank you to the Supreme Court justices for delivering justice, to our incredible legal team led by Demario Solomon Simmons and Jana Knott, to our expert witness, Dr. Carla Pratt, along with so many others. This victory is a testament to your relentless advocacy. To my family, your unwavering support was my strength. To my father, Emmett E. Grayson, your belief carried me through. To the late Sharon Lindsay Scott, though you may not be here, your spirit rejoices with us, along with the ancestors.
Amen.
I am honored. I honor the women who shaped me and their legacy. To my ancestors, including my beloved mother, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother, who was an original Dawes enrollee, your resilience is what carried me through. I love you all. I'm so thankful today. We're just ready to take our rightful place back into the nations of our ancestors' birth. Today, we raise our voices so that both the past and the future can hear. We are here, we belong, and we are not going anywhere. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again, Attorney DeMario, Solomon Simmons, and everyone who worked so hard to secure our citizenship rights.
Thank you, Ron. Ron. Now you hear from Ron Graham. I started representing Ron. I met Ron in 2001 when I was in law school, and we hosted a seminar at University of Oklahoma Law School about this issue.
That's right.
And then I started representing him immediately upon graduation in 2004. And that's when we had our first lawsuit that went to 2007. And the same Supreme Court that gave us a victory yesterday denied us in 2007, and now here we are victorious.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to thank my counselor here and the folks behind me, beside me, and Miss Grayson. Thank you, because we've been working at this, okay? And I want to start by saying, Hische Estingo. And, you know, I'm Creek. Just as I'm an American, I'm Creek.
That's right.
I was born a Creek Indian, okay? So the ruling yesterday was paramount in my life, all right? I've been getting a lot of calls. They state that, well, the Freedmen won. I want to assure you something. The Creek Nation won because the Creek Nation represent the Treaty of 1866.
That's right.
Without that, we have no foundation, none whatsoever. You know, the Constitution as well, and I'm 110% behind sovereignty. But when your sovereignty infringes on someone's civil right, it's not right at all. Okay, so the treaty is what overcame. The treaty is what's paramount to anything. It's the treaty, and that's what we stuck with all along. Okay, that statement, that conclusion that the justices made, it tells you about the so-called by blood statement or by blood's phrase. But you guys, I'm happy. It's been an answered prayer. It's sometimes I wanted to give up, but I knew I couldn't. But after praying, I knew to be patient. And while being patient, I wanted to educate people of what was going on. I wanted to educate people about their genealogy, educate people about what's going on within the Creek Nation, just educate people about the history, about this Freedmen issue. And it all came to a head yesterday by the ruling of this decision that we have received. And again, I'm truly grateful. I'm grateful for the people that was there, that helped us out. Because it's not about, it started about Ron Graham, but it didn't finish about Ron Graham. It finished with every Creek Freedman there is, okay? So I would encourage you, strongly encourage you to do your genealogy, your research, get to know your ancestry, okay? So I thank God for this day. I really do. I appreciate, again, I can't stop thanking you, man. I love this brother.
I love you too, man.
All right, man?
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you, Ron.
But
Man, before we hear from the elected officials here, I did want to, Dr. Ebony Johnson, who's the superintendent of Tulsa Public Schools, she had planned to be here but got called into a meeting. But she has been a great supporter. A lot of people didn't realize that she was a Creek Freedman descent, and someone has been behind the scenes supporting this work. I also want to recognize my classmate, former state senator and state rep Jabbar Shoemate, who is also someone who was really involved in this process and also is a Black Creek or Creek Freedman descent. I do want to underscore something that I think Ron said, maybe Joe. This was a unanimous decision. Unanimous decision. And I want to thank the Creek Nation's judicial system for upholding the rule of law. I want to thank Judge Mauser, Danetta Mauser, for the trial court giving us a fair trial and making the right ruling at that time in 2023, and for the Supreme Court to rule upon the law. I know there's a lot of emotions, a lot of politics involved, but they looked at the plain language of the treaty and told the world that in the Creek Nation, the rule of law will reign supreme. And that is a wonderful thing to know, that our nation believes in the rule of law. So with that, I want to let you hear from another Creek Freedman descent, but also a Choctaw citizen, State Representative Ronnie Stewart.
Good afternoon, everyone. So yes, I'm Ron Stewart, the State Representative for House District 73. And being in that position, I have the pleasure and the honor of representing numerous Black Creeks. And this has been something that has been fought for, cried over, prayed over for years and for generations. And I knew I was on the right track in my thoughts when I listened to Brother Ron Graham speak, because he said everything I wanted to say. So, but the one point that I really want to drive home is when he said that this is a victory for the Creek Nation. When you, in essence, choose to cherry pick what you want to support from the Treaty of 1866, you weaken the treaty language altogether. You make yourself vulnerable to outside influence and possibly attacks from those that may want to do away with the language altogether. But by sticking to the letter of the law, although there may be a lot of different thoughts and emotions going on amongst different groups of people today, the Creek Nation won. That's right. To strengthen the Treaty of 1866, which strengthens the sovereignty that we so truly hold true to our hearts. This was a victory for the nation. And in the spirit of reconciliation and forging a path forward, I encourage those conversations to happen, and that Chief invites our group to the table, and I would love to be part of that. And so that we can, as a unified nation, move forward and forge a new path, one of reconciliation and one of unity. And that's all I have for you all today. Thank you very much.
State Representative, State Senator Regina Goodwin.
Thank you. Thank you to Attorney DeMario Solomon Simmons, Jenna, all that have been involved with this for so many, many, many years. Thank you. Thank you. It has been difficult. It's been challenging, and I do think that, as he mentioned, what the Cherokee Nation did and the example that was set, even after a 15-year journey, even to get to that place, to stand here today, it is a blessing. So I'm thankful to all those that have been involved. And I know when you were reading your history, it's not just black letters on white paper. Mm-hmm. It's not some old history, some dusty pages. We're talking about flesh and blood. We're talking about people. We're talking about ancestry. And so I appreciate you speaking to it in the way you did, reading it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be an oral history if it's documented. And just as the 1866 treaty is in black and white. And for many of us, it's been very simple. It's been a matter of just following the treaty as it is, Article 2. And then so when that happens, as the court has decided, I do hope moving forward that for the Creek Nation, and I've had conversations with the chief, as everybody has, and it's always, let's talk about it. So the decision has been made, and I hope now that there's a path forward where we're talking about not only a presence, but a persistence, and then a people. So this is about humanity. This is about rights. This is about freedom for real, when folks are honored for who they are. And so we've all known it. We hope moving forward that there are going to be really productive conversations that move us forward, because why would we not have that conversation? Beyond the conversation, why would we not have the action that, to your point, you see members now, you see citizens now being acknowledged for who they are. So thank you again. Thank you to all. And Ron has been on this. When I tell you this brother, I've known him for so long, probably 20 years, when he has been helping folks understand their ancestry, know who they are. So learn your own history. It's important.
Thank you. That's a really good point on Ron. Even during this time that he's been trying to get his citizenship, Ron has helped over 100 people get their citizenship by doing their genealogy and finding the ancestor that could be there. So he never was selfish with it. Two other people that wanted to be here today but could not, did hear from our councilwoman, Vanessa Hall Harper. She had another meeting, but she's been a great supporter of this work. And one of my mentors, Attorney Ben Wilson, who was the chairman of Beverage and Diamond, which is one of our DC firms that got involved with us back in 2017. He wanted to be here along with David Riggs, but he had a doctor's appointment. So as we prepare to conclude, I just want to reiterate again, our hope and desire is that the Chief Hill and his leadership takes us up on our offer to meet next week, to sit down and really start that path forward to reconciliation, healing, and come out united. Because as Representative Stewart said, there are individuals and organizations here in this city and this state that want to do away with the entirety of Indian law and the Creek Nation and all the treaties. And we think we're stronger together. And we think we can do that, and we're happy to do it. And we want to drop the term Black Creek. We want to drop the term Creek Freedmen. We want to drop the term Creek of African descent, and we just want to be recognized for what we actually are, which is Creek. Thank you. I'll take it. Okay, go ahead, Tom.
I was like, are we taking questions? So I reached out because next steps obviously is important. That's all I'm seeing on Facebook. Like, where do I go for my genealogy? What are next steps for them?
Thank you.
And then I also reached out to Muskogee Creek Nation to kind of see what it is on their end that they're doing, and this was their response. I just want you to hear it. They're currently reviewing the order to understand its basis as well as the implications for our process. It may be necessary to ask for reconsideration of this order to receive clarity so that we can ensure that we move forward in a legal constitutional manner. What do next steps look like for you now after hearing that as well?
Sure. Thank you. I'm glad you reminded me. August 16th, on August 16th, the Justice for Black Creek Coalition will be having a seminar led by the Muskogee Creek Indian Freedmen Band and Justice for Greenwood to talk about these issues, talk about how we move forward to help people make sure they have how to get their documents together, what the process is. You can go to justiceforblackcreeks.com. They can register for that at the save the date. More information will be coming when Rhonda gets back in the state. But August 16th, so I'm glad you reminded me about that. And as far as the statement from the Creek Nation, our position is the court couldn't have been more clear. It was 23 pages of clarity. And at the end of the day, in the conclusion, they made an order. And they ordered the Citizenship Board to enroll Jeff, Rhonda, and any other Creek that can show that they're a descendant off the Dawes Road. So we're confident in that. And again, hopefully next week when we sit down, if we get to sit down with the chief and his leadership, we can help them work this out. Yes, sir.
When will the plaintiffs, Jeff Kennedy and Rhonda Grayson, be reapplying for citizenship?
Well, they already applied, as you know, and it's our understanding that their applications are being processed as we talk. We've got confirmation that they don't need to do anything else for their applications to be processed. So again, our hope and goal is that we can have this meeting with the chief next week and then get our citizenship. We think it's best if we could show a united front. We would love for the chief to come with us to the citizenship office.
Absolutely.
And give the citizenship cards and shake hands and show leadership, the type of leadership that Chuck Hawkins has shown in the Cherokee Nation, and say, hey, I am the chief, I am accepting this, these are my Creek brothers and sisters, and we're moving forward as one family.
What do people need? If they have the documentation like Jeff, otherwise do they just bring themselves for the genealogy report?
Yeah. Well, again, I would point them to August 16th, or they could go to the Muskogee Creek Indian Freedmen Band website today, or they can go to justforgreenwood.org. And both those organizations can get you pointed back to Jeff and Ron, who are both genealogists that work with us. But in general, someone needs to have an ancestor that's on the Dawes Rolls. So like for me, my great-grandfather, John W. Simmons, was a newborn on the Dawes Rolls. So then I have to have his death certificate, And then my grandmother, Johnny Mae Austin, her birth certificate that shows that John W. Simmons was her father. And then my birth certificate showing that my father, Nehemiah Solomon, is Johnny Mae Simmons' son. So it just links it up that way. And the further you go out, the further you have to bring that documentation. Yes, sir.
You talked about reconciliation with the Muskogee Nation, but do you have any kind of contingency plan for if they want to further contest this at all? Also, is there even a legal pathway to do that going into federal courts, for example?
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, we don't see that they have a path. That, I mean, again, we believe in sovereignty, so we can't imagine our nation going to the federal courts and saying, hey, we don't believe, overrule our nation's courts. I mean, that would just be against everything that anybody that cares about sovereignty would want. But if we get to that point, we definitely, we have a robust team, and, we'll be prepared for any contingency. But we really hope that doesn't come to pass. Yes, sir.
So I know the City of Tulsa's proposed settlement agreement with the Muskogee Nation excludes freedmen without a blood quantum from having their criminal cases transferred to Muskogee Nation tribal court. Is that a concern for y'all going forward?
Yeah, that's something that we're going to look at this point. The position that we're taking, we want to stop all of our litigation. So in that case, you're talking about, we attempted to have a motion to intervene. It was dismissed. We're not going to appeal that. And also, we had another piece of litigation in the Eastern District in Muskogee. We're going to dismiss that. So our position is this is over. We're laying down our quote-unquote weapons, and we're going to the table and saying it's over with. Yes, sir.
Do we know how many freedmen are now eligible to enroll in tribe? Is there a ballpark number that we
The ballpark number that we've always worked with, and again, it's just an estimate. We look at that there are 100,000 by blood, so we think there's probably 100,000 Creek Freedmen descendants, and that's just a rough estimate. We do estimate here in the Tulsa area, you have probably about 10,000. There's so many people that have Black Creek ancestry that you have no idea. Like I said, Dr. Ebony Johnson, most people know that. Bobby Woodard at Westview Pharmacy, a very prominent member of our community, Creek Freedmen descent. I can just go, Tyrone Billingsley, some of you guys know from Black Tech Street, Creek Freedmen descent. It's a lot of people. Kenny Mundy. Okay.
Is the prevailing party, will you be seeking attorney fees and court costs?
That is something we haven't even thought about. We've been so focused, maybe we should think about it, but we've been so focused on just the citizenship, I just be so honest with you. We feel like, and I think I speak for everyone, just a big boulder has fallen off, and we're like, okay, we just want to move forward without even thinking about that right now. So, haven't thought about it. Yes, sir. I'll go back to you, Dean.
There's an election in September for the Muskogee Nation, and I was just curious, I imagine that will be part of what you guys discuss next week, hopefully, is maybe how to expedite these applications in order to hopefully get these folks in.
Well, actually, you just gave me another talking point. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That is something we need to put on the list. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
So when you look back at all that you've had to go through with the current plaintiffs, with Ron, with your grandmother and Creek descendants for decades, for question for Rhonda and Jeff, some people on social media are wondering why you would want to fight so hard to re-enter a nation that has fought so hard to keep you out. Why?
Is that a question for
Rhonda and Jeff.
Jeff? Did you hear that? Rhonda, did you hear that?
She'll be passionate.
I did hear it.
Okay.
Did hear it. I have an answer for that. It's no different from the United States enslaved people of African descent. The Creek Nation enslaved people of African descent. But people who were from the States, they're not going to say that we no longer want to be a citizen of the United States because the United States enslaved people of African descent. It's no different for us who were enslaved by the tribes. It is our birthright. We were a part of the nation. Our people were forced removed on the Trail of Tears. They scouted the land and paved the way and for safety to the new land of Indian Territory. Our people served side by side during the Civil War with the Muskogee people, fighting 3 battles all along the way to the free northern state of Kansas. These people were family, and there was a commitment by Chief Opithalahola. He said, if you join my party to Kansas, you will be as free as your masters. These people intermarried together, fought together, they prayed together, they laughed together. We are Muskogee people. It is our birthright.
Yeah, I think she said it good. One thing I would add is that also we have been a part of this nation since the Europeans got here. And I'm not saying that, but Dr. Daniel Littlefield, who is the foremost expert in this area out of the University of Arkansas, testified under oath in 2005 that Black Creeks, or Creeks of African descent, were here when the Spanish showed up in the 1500s. So we've always been a part of this nation, and as Rhonda stated, we helped build this nation. In fact, you think about one of my ancestors, Moses Perryman, who was unfortunately one of the largest slaveholders in the Creek Nation. The Perryman family are the founders of Tulsa, and they were known to have these huge ranches. Well, who built these ranches? Who worked these ranches? Who cleared these ranches? The people there were enslaved. So now we're just going to give up our birthright, what our ancestors fought and died for. Then on the other side of my family, look at Cal Tom. He was already free before the treaty. He negotiated the treaty. He signed the treaty. So how you going to take my citizenship now? He was already a citizen even before the treaty, you see? So all those histories are, and we know our history. That's why we keep saying, know your history. And I wish a lot of people online, and they don't know our history. They don't understand, and that's just showing their bias. So, all right, one more question. Okay, oh, two more, one, you and then Naomi.
Going off of what Representative Stewart said, I mean, right now we're seeing the Constitution under attack, we're seeing tribes under attack, but for everyone to come together, do the right thing for the Muskogee Creek Nation, you know, and their Constitution, do you think this sets a precedent for other tribes and maybe, you know, Americans with their Constitution?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons why we had a lot of support with civil rights organizations like Equal Justice Initiative, Lawyers Committee on Civil Rights, Legal Defense Fund, et cetera, because they see the parallel. You know, it's the same thing. It's birthright citizenship. It's treaty language. It's the language on the paper. So we think this sets a great precedent. Not only does it protect the sovereignty of the Creek Nation, it protects sovereignty for all the Native American nations, and then the larger scope of, if you follow the law, this is what you have to do. So, great question. Yes, Naomi.
Do you anticipate if Freedmen do have all of their documents together that they could go to the Citizenship office today or tomorrow or Monday and actually file that application and then get citizenship?
Well, what I would say today is the court has made it that's what should happen. And we do anticipate, just like in September of 2023, there's a large rush of people to the citizenship offices. That's why we think it's imperative that we get with the Creek Nation's leadership and let's talk about that. Let's have a process, because we don't want to be sitting here a month, 2 months from now and people saying, hey, I'm showing up and they're not letting me in and not taking applications. Then that puts us back into a situation where now it could be adversarial. And we don't have to do that. We can be forward thinking, we can sit down, we can have one message to the entire community and then let people know, hey, it may take some time, but we're all working together. If we can do that as one nation, one body, one voice, I think it can work out without a lot of confusion and tension. Thank you so much, guys. Oh, absolutely. You trying to get Rhonda in it too? Well, Rhonda, we're going to take a photo. We're going to take one of the people that's here, and we're going to try to get you in there. Where you want us? I mean, we can go out there. We don't have to stay here.
Yeah, I'll stay out there.
Yeah, okay. Rhonda, be right back.